What would you do if you had a really crappy job, but quitting it would destroy your family? What's up, everyone? I'm Yusuf, and this is the plot summary of God of War, Chains of Olympus. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally going to move through the God of War games. I still haven't played God of War 3 yet, and I refuse to pick up the controller for that game until I do the plot summaries for the first 4. This episode takes place right in the middle of God of War 1 and after Ascension. So he's already broken his oath with Aries and dealt with the Furies, links in the right corner. But he hasn't killed Aries yet, and he works for Athena because he thinks that by doing so it will cleanse his soul and relieve him from the nightmares he gets of him murdering his family. Phew, that's a lot. Let's start the plot. So, Kratos is ordered by Athena to deal with the Persians as they are invading Attica. Attica is the region that has Athens in it. Obviously, when you are Athena, you would protect this area. There is an Athens, Georgia. I wonder if Kratos would show up there. Wouldn't that be weird if you saw him in the crowd of a University of Georgia game? Like he's got money on the ACC championships or something. Anyway, Kratos busts through anyone he encounters that's Persian until he finds the king of Persia, raiding the treasury. The king is all like, "I'm here to purify Attica, and relieve you of this gold, if you know what I'm saying." So the two fight. Halfway into the fight, when the king runs out of Persian backup dancers, he summons Ifrit to help him. Now, I know Ifrit from Final Fantasy. He's usually the fire summons. In reality, someone's reality anyway, Ifrit is not one, but a race of demons in Arabic mythology, according to Wikipedia. So, basically, that's like asking for your friend Jabari's help, and when he shows up with the assist, someone says, "Uh-oh, he's being helped by Black Man." Also, the idea of adding Arabic mythology to the Persians because they are Muslim adds a whole lot of different vibe to it. Like Arab gods and Greek gods exist in the same universe? That opens Kratos' world up so much. So of course your boy Kratos is not impressed by the king's trick and deals with him accordingly.
Please, spare my life. Take my kingdom, my women, my gold. I won't take your riches, but I will take your life.
That was most heinous. He takes the Ifrit, by the way, on some Mega Man stuff. Anyway, the king wasn't really the main objective, the basilisk was. The basilisks are supposed to be a giant lizard rooster hybrid, but I guess it would be too hard to take it seriously. So we just get a standard huge lizard thingy, which has no chance against Kratos. After that, Kratos yells up to Athena.
Is this all you would have me do? Is there nothing else?
Apparently, this task was really below him. Fortunately, there was another task. I have to say, Athena is the greatest handler ever. She seems to be really good at pre-planning things for Kratos and dangles his wants and needs in front of his face so well, it's like watching a spy movie. Athena literally sets up my boy Kratos with a 2-for-1 mission, easier than my wife asks me to run 2 errands in 1 trip to the store. Anyway, the sun just falls out of the sky, and then a fog of darkness whooshes over everything. Well, there's Kratos' answer. Kratos follows the sun to a dark city on fire and investigates. While in the city, Kratos finds out that the darkness is from Morpheus, the god of dreams. What's he going on about? Fire counters the fog, so Kratos uses it to make it through the city and finds the temple of Helios, which also doubles as the fire chariot that drags Helios across the sky for the daytime. Athena's statue happens to be at the temple and starts to talk to Kratos.
I grow tired of the gods' requests, Athena. I have given enough. Now take these nightmares from my head.
It is not for you to say when your servitude ends. You will earn your freedom in time.
We know that Athena doesn't really have control of Kratos' dreams from the first god of war. She keeps talking to him about his freedom, and Kratos thinks she is referring to his nightmares. Anyway, she asks for complete obedience because Helios' chariot has been pulled to the ground, and if something isn't done soon, Morpheus, the god of dreams, will take over. He's already put a bunch of the gods to sleep, literally. Kratos is a meathead because he doesn't realize right away that he could just work for Morpheus and have his nightmares handled immediately.
Athena, I think we are done here. Enjoy your everlasting sleep.
But I guess Kratos' need to have a daytime supersedes his need to have his nightmares go away. He actually seems to give a crap this time. So Athena tells Kratos to find and release Helios. Further into the temple, Kratos runs into a statue of Eos, Helios' sister, that just starts talking to him. That is so weird to me. I never get over it. A statue just starts talking to you when you pass it. That would make me avoid statues altogether. Eos tells Kratos that the Titan Atlas has freed himself from Tartarus, the prison all the Titans were sent to when they lost the fight with the gods, and has captured Helios to take his vast sun god powers. She lends Kratos Helios' sun shield and tells him to find her in Olympus. No explanation as to why he needs to do this first, though. Well, fortunately for Kratos, there is a portal in the temple. So, first Kratos uses the sun shield to activate one of the 3 horses that pull the chariot, rule of 3s. Then he finds the portal and bam! He is in the caves of Olympus.
Well, where in the world am I?
He swims and climbs and fights and finally finds Eos stuck next to an underground river. She is weakened because her brother isn't around. Eos is the goddess of the dawn. She got the crappy end of the stick in her family. What, is it her job to wake Helios up every morning? Time to make rise and shine a thing, Helios. Anyway, she tries to give glory to Zeus for getting Kratos to her safely, as if he didn't just fight a ton of monsters. Then she's like,
Save my brother, Kratos, and he will convince Zeus to release you and rid you of the horrors of your past. I give you my word.
The gods have broken their word to me many times. Forgive me if I find it hard to believe your promises.
I like how Kratos is like, Bitch, I already know how y'all are a bunch of lying-ass managers. Just tell me what you want. Real talk. Have you ever had that happen at your job where your manager read some shit somewhere about morale and all of a sudden they come up to you like, Hey buddy, I like what you are doing. Keep up the good work. But you already know he's an asshole, so you are like, you stopped my productivity because you wanted to act like you give a shit about my well-being? Can I go back to work now? Like your boss just wants you to look on the bright side while he's pooping in your mouth. Seriously, right there, Kratos should have become self-aware and dropped those blades like, "I'm out of here. Morpheus has better wages, stock options, and great health insurance." I'm starting to get mad for Kratos now. He's got a shitty job. It's like he works for EA or something. Damn. Anyway, Eos tells him, regardless of his crappy health insurance, if the sun doesn't come back, everyone is screwed, so he really doesn't have a choice. That's a valid point. Eos points Kratos to the primordial fire and tells him that he can use it to wake up the other two horses. Then the three horses will take him directly to wherever Helios is. So Kratos takes the original fire from which all fires are started and uses it to wake up the remaining steeds and gets attacked by Morpheus's minions. Those weren't the type of headhunters Kratos was hoping for. And Kratos easily defeats them and activates the steeds, and he is out this bitch. The steeds ignited and pulled the chariot towards Helios. As a last-ditch effort, Morpheus grabs a hold of Kratos and puts him to sleep. While in Dreamland, it is revealed that the flute melody comes from Kratos' memory of his daughter, who would play the flute for him when he comes back from a campaign of stabbing people in the throat and ripping their body parts from their torsos. It's a nice little dream, but of course you know what happens when Kratos is dreaming. Once the horses pass into Hades, Kratos is out of Morpheus' jurisdiction, so he wakes up out of his nightmare. The horses can't sustain their life in the land of the dead, so they dissolve and Kratos gets flung into the side of a mountain. He has arrived. Kratos moves on through the river Styx to request passage to Hades from Charon, the ferryman of the river. And Charon says no because Kratos isn't dead. Technicalities. So remember, this happens before Kratos fights Aries in the first installment. So alas, Kratos is ill-equipped for this fight. Of course, Charon doesn't kill Kratos. That would be a little pointless now, wouldn't it be? He just throws Kratos' ass into Tartarus, the same prison that had Atlas. And Kratos has been knocked unconscious 2 times in one game. That's definitely a record. And Kratos beats up all the undead jailers and finds the Gauntlet of Zeus. You see, because the prison houses all the Titans, the guards need a weapon that gives them the strength to put the Titans in their place. So Zeus created the Gauntlet of Zeus for this purpose. In the hands of Kratos, though, it might just be the tool he needs to have a better discussion with Charon. So Kratos moves his way past the imprisoned Titans, out of Tartarus, and back to Charon. Time for round 2. Kratos quickly uses Zeus's gauntlet to disable Charon's advantage. With that done, Kratos moves. Wait a minute. Alright, so then after having redisposed of Charon, Kratos makes that trip down the river Styx. That's when he hears the flute noise again and looks around to see his daughter, Calliope. That's when the meathead realizes he could have just killed himself all along to be with his family, right? Like he was spending all this time trying to get rid of the nightmares of him killing his family, but in actuality, he could have been with his family this whole time. You kind of want to feel sorry for the guy if it wasn't for the fact that he's the one who killed his kid. Anyway, he couldn't redirect the boat, but best believe he's heading in that direction. Once he gets there, he doesn't see Calliope, but instead he sees Persephone, the wife of Hades.
Where is my daughter, witch?
Choose your words carefully, ghost of Sparta. You address the goddess of the underworld.
Persephone tells Kratos that his pure daughter is kicking it in the Elysian fields. When Kratos asks to see her, Persephone is like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you can't do that. You still have to save the Olympians from everlasting sleep. Remember?" Kratos is like, "The gods? They have crappy health insurance and stock options. They promised me an end to my nightmares and do nothing but dangle that in front of my face. Screw those jerks." Then Persephone is like, "I know, right? Zeus tricked me into marrying his ugly-ass brother. Now I'm stuck here to be a nanny taking care of these dead people. Do I look like I need children?" Real quick, Persephone is Zeus's daughter. Hades is Zeus's brother. And Zeus promised Hades that Hades could have any of his daughters to marry. Hades was in love with Persephone, but Persephone's mom, Demeter, goddess of agriculture, said no way. So, in collaboration with Zeus, Hades abducted Persephone when no one was looking and kept her hostage in the underworld until Stockholm Syndrome kicked in. Demeter started messing up the world because she spent all her time looking for her missing daughter. So Hades brought Persephone back, but had Persephone eat pomegranate seeds, which are said to bring someone you love back to you. This is why Persephone pulls a pomegranate in the cutscene as she is complaining. When she was back to Zeus, she told Zeus that she wanted to go back to the underworld with Hades, but her mom didn't believe her, so as a compromise, Persephone spends half the year in the underworld and half the year in Olympus. The time she is in Olympus, her mother Demeter actually does her job, and these times are known as spring and summer. Alright, back to the story. So, Kratos demands to see his daughter, and Persephone makes him a deal.
The world of man will suffer because of your choice.
I care little for the world and its suffering. Where is she?
If you are to see your daughter again, you must become worthy of Elysium. Cast your weapons at the Forsaken Tree, and let it release the evils of your past.
Kratos looks like an animatronic puppet. The way they set his rig up for the PSP is actually kind of funny. His mouth is all big bottom lip, his eyes dart over to the right, then they give him this stiff-ass animation. I giggle a little every time I look at it. It reminds me of the old TMNT movie from the 90s. Cowabunga! Oh man, that was bad. Anyway, so Persephone tells Kratos that he's going to have to put his weapons on the pomegranate tree, and the tree will cleanse him so that he is worthy of the Elysian fields. Just like that, huh? Years of death and killing. And Kratos does as instructed, thus losing all his strength and becoming a normie. Kratos heads to the portal and sees Calliope.
Calliope!
Father?
My child.
Why did you go?
I am here now, child. And I will not leave you again.
I have watched over you pathetic mortals for 1,000 years, and it is always the same. Serving yourself before the needs of others has always been your flaw. But no matter. For now you serve my purpose.
Persephone reveals that she is the one that freed Atlas so that he could get Helios. As they speak, Atlas has succeeded in taking Helios' power. Her plan is simple. Give Atlas the power that will allow him to crush the one pillar that supports the earth above the underworld. Once the pillar breaks, Olympus will be smushed underneath the world. Persephone and all the gods will be killed, throwing everything into complete chaos. She's pretty irritated with how she was tricked, so she's cool with dying while carrying out her revenge.
And what is to become of you?
I will have my peace and be free from this miserable existence. I will perish, but it is my choice.
Persephone also states that Kratos' selfish choice is what will lead to the end of everything, including his daughter. And Kratos tries to stop her, but of course he can't because he don't have no powers, yo. And Kratos knows what he must do. And as a father of two girls, I have to admit, I almost put the controller down for a minute.
Father, please! Please! Father! Father, no!
The game then says that Kratos realizes that having humanity cost him power. But I disagree with that. Kratos only had one choice to make. He needed power at that moment to save his daughter. He gained humanity and power at the same time. So Kratos goes through the Elysian fields killing innocent ghosts so he can get his powers back. Then he had to leave his daughter to save the world. Harsh. So Kratos leaves the fields and heads towards the pillar to see if he can stop Atlas. He is stopped by Persephone though, who dons battle armor and flies away with Kratos in tow. So that was the plot summary. Here's the ending.
Real talk. At least I made it to the checkpoint.
Be with her. Leave this world behind. Atlas! Your suffering will never end, Ghost of Sparta.
Perhaps you believe the Olympians will help you. But I ask, where are your gods now, Kratos? Why do they not come to your aid? I do not need the aid of the gods! but my path is now clear to me. I will serve them, and they will keep their promise to free me from my past! I ask you, Spartan, what good is the promise of an Olympian? It is all I have, Atlas! We will meet again, Spartan. The fates have deemed it. One day, you will regret what you have done here.
The mighty Atlas was left enchained, cursed to forever hold the world on his shoulders. Greater penance than even Zeus himself had placed on the Titans. The fate of Atlas had been sealed, and the goddess Persephone was no more. Kratos had saved mankind, but that mattered little to him. By forsaking his daughter, he had abandoned the only person he ever cared for. What he had long sought and finally found was now forever lost. As the sun chariot rose higher in the sky, and the might of Helios shone once again on the world, Morpheus retreated to the shadows. Kratos gained little satisfaction from his victory. With years of servitude in front of him, he would need to confront his past and fight to reclaim the humanity he lost on the day his dark legend was born.
All right, there you go. That was a God of War, Chains of Olympus. What do you guys think? I really like how the writers in this game can twist the lore to put Kratos in Greek mythology stories. You could hear Kratos' voice crack when he said that the word of the gods is all he has. That's really sad. Also, even though Kratos didn't want to work with Aries anymore because he was a shitty boss, he ended up working with Athena to help Aries anyway. Basically, some meatloaf new boss, same as the old boss sorta crap. Like, Kratos isn't working for a new company, he's working for the same company in a different branch. Anyway, I'm on a tear coming up with this content. I appreciate y'all hanging in there with me for the times of the year when I'm actually productive. I will see if I can get all of these God of War videos on the channel before I play the third one. I also have the one for PS4 that I would like to look at, but I'm not in very much of a rush to play that one for sure. I also need to finish the Gears of War series and the Prince of Persia series as well. I'm looking to do another RPG somewhere in there. I don't know, we'll see. Thanks again for all the comments. Positive, negative, and constructive. Makes it interesting for sure. And see y'all next time. Peace.